Saturday, November 23rd, 11:10 a.m. A Boeing 767, like this one, owned by Ethiopian Airlines, takes off from Addis Ababa. Its destination, Nairobi, Kenya, an hour and 40 minutes away. Franklin Huddle, the U.S. Consul General to Bombay, and his Thai-born wife, Chania, were among the 175 passengers.
It was about 20 minutes into the flight that I saw a guy go zipping down the right side of the aircraft.
The guy was one of 3 Ethiopian hijackers who stormed the cockpit, brandishing the jet's fire extinguisher and emergency axe. They demanded that the plane go to Australia, an 8-hour flight, impossible to reach without refueling, as the pilot, Captain Lual Abate, told them.
They said, no, we don't need any fueling. We'll go as far as the aircraft flies, then we crash.
The hijackers shouted over the loudspeaker that they had a bomb. Then silence.
It was eerie, because there was sort of an edgy, eerie, nervous calm that went on for hours.
For more than 3.5 hours, they flew on. Dangerously low on fuel, Flight 961 was approaching the Comoros Islands, 200 miles off the African continent, when...
So right there, we lost one engine.
Abate tells the passengers to prepare for an emergency landing.
There were everything from passengers who were crying, to praying, to chanting.
Huddle says no announcements were made to the passengers about how to prepare themselves. He and his wife read the safety manual and put their passports and money in plastic bags.
Back in the tourist part of the plane, we could hear a pop, 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 as all the life jackets were being inflated.
Then the fuel runs out, and the plane loses power. The pilot struggles with the hijackers to control the descent, then makes a final announcement.
He basically said, we're going to have to make a crash landing. It's going to be real hard, get ready.
My husband said, I love you, and oh, sweetheart, I love you, that's it, and no time to think, just too fast.
Faster.
The left wing hit the water. This home video shows the impact at 200 miles an hour.
Oh, Felipe.
The plane twists and breaks into pieces.
The first initial impact was surprisingly gentle, and I thought that, well, maybe it wasn't going to be all that bad. Then the second one was like a 30-mile-an-hour auto accident. I said, uh-oh. Then a 60 or 70-mile auto accident. I said, uh-oh. And then it started tumbling like a washing machine on steroids. And at that point, I thought, I'm dead.
The plane broke apart right at their row.
The next thing I knew, I was sitting in the water, sitting upright, in my seat, still had my seatbelt on, and the first words I said was, I'm alive. Just like that, I'm alive. And I looked over and saw on my left-hand side, my wife. She'd been sitting on my right-hand side before, and she was still strapped into her seatbelt.
My face didn't touch the water at all. My face and my husband's face didn't get wet.
Onlookers from the nearby beach resort rushed to the wreckage to look for survivors. 50 passengers did survive. The hijackers and 122 others were killed. Huddle lost 1/3 of his blood. His foot was sliced almost in half. Chania suffered minor injuries. They wonder whether anything could have prevented Flight 961 from this final outcome.
I guess the question that was on the survivors' minds, and a lot of us talked about it, was whether or not it would have been more prudent to have forced the issue earlier.
Particularly since the hijackers never displayed the bomb they claimed to have.
I knew they had nothing. If there was somebody to react against them, we could have avoided it. It could have been avoidable.
We're just lucky, not time to die yet, maybe.
And why did the hijackers, who had voiced no political motive, deliberately force the plane to crash? Captain Abate says he told them they would kill innocent people. He says they replied, never mind, we're making history.